Welcome viewers back to Heart of the Machine, where we continue to strive against the Vorsiber Corporation in hopes that we can somehow keep our newly sapient AI alive long enough to flee the planet or something. Who knows what the end result is. Right now we're just having fun. We have one more turn left until we need to prepare for enemy arrival after the laser printer mishap. We're 34% of the way to Intelligence Class 4. We're mostly done decrypting corporate records. Still haven't spent any money in gifts to the slums. We need to do one more Street Sense project related for Exoplex lasers. And next turn it looks like we'll finish VR Pod Revisions 2, which is currently causing attacks. We also have an idea ready, computing optimization. We can turn on computing client for more bulk capacity. We have plenty of bulk capacity right now with 3 remote unit controllers. Computing host would improve our biological and tower mainframes. We're not using biological mainframes due to the ethics. That would give us 6 more internal robotics for those quantum processors for code breakers, but building another one of those could make this decryption happen faster, but it's happening pretty fast. Or better mainframes, which is an upgrade to our tower mainframes, upgrading, let's see, 2,000, roughly 1,200 extra neural expansion per mainframes. So it's really a question, I think, do we want to build more mainframes or improve the ones we have? 1,200 per. Let's take a look at how many we actually have. Our mainframes. Right here, looks like 3. No, way more than 3. We have 10 tower mainframes. So if we're improving these 1,200 each, that's 12,000 extra neural expansion versus building a new one would give us 6 robotics. How many do they take? 3 robotics. So we could build 2 more, 8,800 each. So that's 16,000. Definitely. Okay, so it's definitely that one. Well, more computing host. And we're going to move on to item development or procurement of efficacy. Let's do the procurement. Let's make a couple tower mainframes. Couple tower mainframes is going to cost us a lot of computronium cubes, which we just happen to have quite a few of to make these. Take a look at our resources. I think everything seems to have stabilized this turn. We are slightly in excess on daily necessities. Bovine tissue and computronium cubes both at cap. Got room for a lot of donuts. I think those things are probably getting stale by now. Everything else looks fine. Miraculously, our groundwater situation has turned around. We are making 102,000 groundwater per well, consuming 28,000 per filtration tower. So it's still about 3 to 1 with quite a bit of excess. So maybe we'll do one more Street Sense related to those, if that would be wise. Another Street Sense that affects water, if available. Not seeing any. So, there's one. That would go from 2.5 to 3, whatever that means. 2.5 to 3. So that would put these up around, I'd say, like 33 to 35,000 each. So not those. These 33 to 35,000 each, which does come close to risking 3 being more than one of these, but if they, so this divided by 3 is like not quite 34,000. So this divided by 5 is 5,400. So we add another 5,400 to this. That would be 33,400. I think that would be just under. That's very risky though. I do want to maximize our water output. Let's go for it. That's the first thing we're going to do this turn. After a lot of waffling about things, we're going to send a sledge over here to do microfiltration. I think we need a sledge. The Raven also finished something over here. Wasn't this Raven helping? The Raven's still working on putting the fire out. Never mind. With a sledge selected, where is our sledge? Sledge is up here, pretty close. That would take 5 turns, so I think we're going to throw you back in the Bastion. Riding around in style, buddy. Bring the Bastion over here. And then you can hop out and do this water filtration, microfiltration project. Xplex lasers. Xplex lasers completed. Uplift chamber, Hampson Lynn cycler, fractional distillery, and Locke's bunker. Wait, uplift chamber uses cutting-edge gene therapy for the whole body and krypton fluoride exoplex lasers for the nanoscale brain surgery. Great. So that was the reason we were doing this. Well, also got a Hampson Lynn cycler, liquefax atmosphere, and a fraction distillery uses vacuum swing adsorption to separate out the component gases from liquid air. And a Locke's bunker, liquid oxygen is highly explosive. Keep it away from anything you don't want accidentally blown up. Scrapping the building detonates it. Ooh, that sounds dangerous. So that should be a bunch of new suggested buildings. It is suggesting we make biological mainframes and a Locke's bunker. Let's make the tower mainframes. Definitely scared of biological mainframes. Don't want people to hate us that much yet. Tower mainframes need space. That feels like a good space. There we go. Locke's bunker. This looks like something we could put over here. We don't really want this near anything else in our neighborhoods. Would be nice if we could see it though. How about over here? Right. Okay, in addition to Locke's bunker, we got fractional distillery, which needs liquid air. We got the cycler, which makes liquid air. It is assembler robotics for both of these. What are we using assembler robotics for at the moment? Computronium, Helix Forge, VR Cradles. Alright, so if we want to do an uplift project, we're going to have to sacrifice VR Cradles probably. Where do we make the uplift chamber? I'm guessing the Exoplex lasers require everything else. Okay, this is going to take a lot of neodymium, which we don't have yet. And 220 krypton gas. So the whole point of all that other stuff is to get the krypton gas necessary to make this. Krypton gas. So fractional distillery and liquid air. So both of these doesn't require anything but liquid gallium, but it's really about the robotics. I'm not going to abandon our soul gel hydrolysis reactor, but we might drop the number of VR cradles we currently have. Since we're about to finish VR pod revisions, let's not do that just yet. Let's stick with the suggested build for now. And try to remember to come back to uplift chambers as soon as possible. We do have one more turn also before a big battle. How are we doing on water in... not in the ledger, but as a resource? Already got 2.38 million, so we made almost a million net this turn. That's pretty good. That's going to be... if I remember right, it's about 10 cents per. So that's like 70,000 a turn. That'll get us some wealth pretty fast if they keep buying water from us. Is there anything else left to do? Gifts to the slums is really the only street sense in project related. It does say 2. What's the other one? I only see 1. Okay, well, we won't worry about that. Let's use our remaining 13 points here to try to get these buildings that we just constructed online. We did make 2 tower mainframes. I made a locks bunker. Yeah, I don't know how highly explosive that is. Hopefully... range is 4. Current explosion range up to 4. I presume that's going to be able to be in order to make rockets later so that we can get off planet, maybe? Who knows? Let's get a tech over and start getting things built. Or a couple techs, that is. Looks like our Android launchers are done. Should also take a look at our jammers over here. Okay, one of the 2 tower mainframes is done. The other one's in progress. We have one more move left. Let's take a look at our jammers real quick. See what the coverage is like for those. As suspected, it's just out of range of that tower mainframe. This one's covering a bunch of stuff. This one's covering mostly water filtration. I'm not sure if that matters. And this one's not really doing much. What else do we have? What about scanners? Are they buildable right now? No, no scanners are buildable right now. Network range extender is... how are we doing on our network range? I feel like we were building... yeah, so it looks like these network range extenders completed. So let's go ahead and bump that out a little bit more again. One goal was to get over here. There's a lot of buildings we could probably take over in that direction. So let's build up here. And then down this direction. Maybe down into this corner would be nice also. So let's try here. Still have enough robots for 2 more of those, it looks like. Let's let those build, but I think another one down here to go this way might be nice. To cover this section. Otherwise, I feel like we're doing pretty close. So there is one thing, again, my buddy Pojo in the comments pointed out that I've been reading wrong for a while now, which is in these mine farms, the humans in mine farms cap is 12k per building. We've made enough of these buildings that our human in mine farms cap is 180k, and I've been reading that as 42,000 of 180,000 already in there, but that's actually 42 of 180,000. We're getting very little uptake or use of our mine farms, and that's very likely because just we don't have... our VR pods just aren't good enough yet. So we are poised to, once we have good VR pods, to start throwing people in there and rapidly increase our mental capacity. The other thing that's happening is there have been new updates to the VR tab here, there's still a bunch of stuff that we don't have access to yet, but we do have access to inspirations. So we can actually go into VR and just spend points here to generate inspiration. So once we're out of research, we have got 21,000 scientific research. All those scientists that we're hiring in our buildings outside, they're generating scientific research, 1,400 per turn. And we could spend those on inspirations to add research. Computing optimization is really one that I think is probably a good one to spend points on. Believe computing optimization is what gets us more mental energy, or a chance to get more mental energy. The rest of these are mostly fighting. Item development. Structural improvement is an interesting one too. I think I want to go ahead and hold off on that for now, but once we're out of research, we're definitely going to start tapping into the VR science capital. Got one more mental energy to use this turn. Let's bring this guy up. Actually, let's check contemplations just in case. We still have the revelation. We are avoiding this because it's kind of endgamey revealing, and I don't want to jump there yet until we have higher intelligence class. I did do that in the demo, and I definitely recommend if you're playing through this for your first time that you do this contemplation. But it does sort of make a major change that I want to be prepared for. You don't need to be prepared for it. It works out regardless, but I just think doing it this way is going to be more fun for me. So I'm going to move senior tech up back toward the network, and we're going to go ahead and advance to turn 217. All right, laser printer mishap, a whole bunch of enemy attacks planned, and what is this? Some kind of dome. Whoa, what is going on here? Defeat Oerl. The safe house has been abandoned, but many of the researchers did not make it out of the lockdown zone in time. You didn't know there was going to be a lockdown. You don't know where the researchers are any more than Oerl does. Block Oerl from finding them. Hover the mission icon at the center of the lockdown for more information. It is possible to fail this project. That will result in a branch of the details of what comes next. To complete, do not let them succeed in finding the researchers. Vorsiber has unexpectedly set a public time limit for these activities. You don't know why, but there is a Vorsiber senior vice president lurking around if you feel you can spare the time to talk to them. Block enemy missions for 6 turns. That appears to be our #1 priority. We didn't quite finish VR pod revisions for some reason that turn. We should have, I think. 36% of the way to next intelligence class. We did get an idea ready. We got 7 compassion that turn because we completed helping firefighters. Nice. Okay, so just the Raven completed helping firefighters. We got some compassion points. And we started the mission. Search for AGI researchers. Oerl Integrated is determined to recapture the AGI researchers you've been hiding. This was expected, but the fact that Vorsiber is backing them and providing a security lockdown for the area is completely unexpected. This kind of lockdown prevents your units from leaving the lockdown area, but allows free movement of anyone into the area. Interesting. The typical logic is to prevent criminals from escaping, but not to block co-conspirators from revealing themselves. 9 attacks planned. These are military snipers from Vorsiber. Tech Force detectives from Oerl. And supposedly there's a conversation. Here we go. Corpos SVP. He's just laid back there, non-combatant. Like, can we send somebody in to talk to him first? Or does it make more sense to blow everything up first? We have 16 mental energy. That's a lot. We do have at least 2 combatants who can do things. Plus a mech down here. This mech can take things out, right? No. Why not? Hold on. Can we not attack these with shell? Blocked from attacking your shell company unit cannot attack this target without drawing suspicion to your whole operation. Wait, what? Oh man, I did that backward. I thought for sure the shell operatives were the ones that were gonna... Oh my god, okay. We're kind of in a pickle then because... we do have predators in range. That's good. So we can do some serious damage with the predators. Let's get them over here. $149 damage for the first predator to jump in here for one move. That seems reasonable. And then if we take out the detectives, I think taking out the detectives is preferred because they're the ones doing the actual searching. Not getting any kind of bonus for shooting at them, but they appear to be vulnerable to us. To our shotguns, that is. Like force detectives, big squads of them, but they are dropping fast to our shotguns. Alright, we're gonna have to bring in one more predator. This guy's kind of far. Just close enough to hit this last Sec Force detective, and then we can take out the last of the military snipers. What's left? It says one enemy attacks planned way over here. Oh, that is a large mech. This poses a problem. Don't really have anything here to respond to that immediately. Our bastion here is a little bit far away. Could bring in a mech. What are you actually doing? You're actually shooting at the foundry. Moss Advena. Don't think the foundry does a lot of damage. 100% blocked by armor. Health is 935. You do barely any damage. Okay. 935 health is a lot. If you were over here... You could do 230. That's still not very much. 5 moves. That would be 4 shots on it. Plus you'd have to use consumable items, which takes a move. Doesn't that takes mental energy? Okay. One of these gives you plus 140 intensity. The armor on this thing is 376. Ouch. So you're going to need 3 of the large bores. Do we even have enough to do that? No. Oof. This is a problem. We're going to need to extract some prismatic tungsten in order to deal with this, aren't we? 6 turns of this too. Ouch. Could get the foundry out of there. He's not going to die this turn. Let's see about prismatic tungsten. Some right here. How do we get this? We need security clearance. Can't be done by a vehicle. Can a sledge do it? Sledge is unfortunately pretty far away and has insufficient security clearance. Sledge doesn't really have security clearance, that's right. We have predators, we have keepers. We're gonna have to destroy some... We're gonna have to destroy some of these to get rid of it. Let's go ahead and destroy this raven, honestly. That's probably the easiest one to scrap. Probably also want to destroy the sledge. So something with security clearance, that's going to be one of these combat units. Military appearance, that's our best security clearance. Let's send one of those in. That's 12 capacity though, that's not enough. Senior tech. Actually, these bulk peacekeepers are somewhat, not bulk, the regular peacekeepers are somewhat useless over here because these aren't attacking the Shell Corporation. The techs are kind of useless right now also. I'd rather keep the non-techs around the sledge totally useless for now. Let's destroy the sledge. Okay. Still have 8 mental energy. Bringing in this is going to cost 2. It's going to cost 3 to get some more tungsten. I think we're going to have to do this. There's plenty around here. What's the best chances of surviving? Oof, lots of mechs guarding that one. So many mechs guarding all these things. I'm not sure it will matter because this mech will have security clearance to get in there. So maybe it'll be okay. Let's drop him about here then. And let's see. Steel prismatic tungsten. There. Ooh, hit him with bees is an option. Steel prismatic tungsten. This building's cold storage freezers are labeled with hazmat symbols. A guard is posted outside the door, but this doesn't appear to be a particularly sensitive area. Hexamethyl tungsten is extremely volatile and has a tendency to explode at room temperature even in the absence of air. Its uses are being studied by the military, but so far they haven't managed much with it. You could overpower them and break down the door. That's a 52% chance of success. Alarms will sound. The yield from this appears fairly low. We could convince them we're on official business. Not very likely because we have pretty low chance. Difficulty class requires high cognition. We don't have cognition on our combat droids. We could change that. By changing their arming. I don't think there's a weapon that gives them more cognition, but their augment could bring that up to 120. Or, yeah, 0 to 120. What would that do? Currently... DC 13. Plus 1 from our 15 skill, so... I'm not sure that would get very much higher by adding 10 to the skill, or multiplying the skill by roughly 10. Maybe. 120 cognition might be enough. If we fail that, I think next turn we'll be able to take advantage of the chaos. We had an expert Shadow Dweller we could sneak past, but we don't. Or we could hit him with bees. Since it's just one guard, there's a really good chance the bees and your android can incapacitate them despite their armor. The visceral reaction to being covered in bees is pretty strong. 2 outcomes. Let's do it since we've never used the weaponized bees. Alright, 433 tungsten. Got away clean. Used to weaponize bees. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Let's see what that means for our vehicle here. Can you get close enough this turn? So if you're here, you're going to have to move twice. So that's 2 moves. Plus you're going to have to make at least 3. Yeah, you're not going to get close enough. Let's move you closer. Let's actually move the foundry out of there. Or somewhere. Why can't I move? Okay, I can move you over here. And you're going to take way less damage than if we don't move you. Now, you are still too far away to shoot, right? Where is this guy? Here you are. Yeah, so let's move you... Let's not move you in yet, but let's go ahead and use your large bore armor-piercing rounds. A couple times. We have 3 of those gives us enough to destroy your armor next turn. We're out of mental energy, so he is going to wreak havoc this turn. What's he attacking? A water filtration tower for barely any damage. Great, perfect. I think we're kind of sitting pretty there. Out of mental energy, let's do an idea. Procurement efficacy. Better wells. That would bump up our trading ability. Mineral scroungers is always good. Mining skimmers also. What's the difference here? Mining skimmers covers thortfatite and bauxite, whereas outputting bastnasite's good. This just gives us more mineral scrounger yields. The mineral scroungers are the tiny ones. Getting these upgraded a lot might pay off in the long run, but since we have no upgrades in either, I feel like one of these is the way to go. I'm gonna go for this one just because it's more obviously an immediate gain, but I do think that 75% on the small ones is probably the smarter play. Yeah, let's do that. I think it'll take a while to get enough procurement for that to matter. Alright, this turn, any other buildings we want to make? I don't think so. I think we're doing pretty good, although it does look like we can make more wells. We have 12 robotics here suddenly. Did we lose something or something? I'm not sure what happened. Why? But we could make another one of these and then 3 more filtration towers. Let's hold off on that. And let's go ahead and move to 18. Alright, it looks like deterrence took out... No, he did not. That was him attacking this. The Panther moved out of the containment zone. Luckily, we can still probably reach him. 6 enemy attacks planned. Let's move this guy closer. Just so he's... Yeah, we can't fly out. That's too bad. We can attack though, and it's gonna take 4 attacks to blow him up, but we'll get him. 1, 2, 3. Not quite. 4. Is he destroying this? No, he's not gonna do much damage. Kinda wanna do that one last shot at him, but let's take a look at these other ones first. Predators. We also want to talk to this guy before it's too late. What is that? And there's a rebel observer. Maybe we'll watch to that. Talk to that one as well. What are we losing here? We're not losing any predators, so we could do the talks first. We have 11. Yeah, let's do the talking first. That's one of you guys, right? As well, bring in a tech and let's talk to the rebel observers. Can't. We can move in. And force a conversation with... Nope. With you. Corpo. He gives a confident smile, speaking with Corpo, Senior Vice President from Vorsiber Civic Authority. Everything about him is relaxed, despite the violence all around him. He's been making occasional notes on a small clipboard. We can try to extract information through debate, or try to get him to leave. Let's try to extract information. Oerl Integrated is determined to recapture the AGI researchers you've been hiding. This was expected, but the fact that Vorsiber's backing them and providing a security lockdown for the area is completely unexpected. Maybe he can explain why Vorsiber is involved with this. Or we could ask him to leave. You're pretty sure any agreement you come to will involve an awful trade. Are you sure you can't win this fight? Pretty sure I can win this fight, so... let's try to extract information. Okay, we can logic and lie. Target's actually pretty low, and he doesn't have a lot of mistrust or defiance. We have a logic that we're going to be able to build pretty quick. And we only need 2, so let's start there. This one, yep. Got the logic. We're almost done. That was easy. Threat, truth, and logic. No lies. We can just keep building here. Lie. Okay, so lie is going to be these 3 across the top, but we do need to get one in there. So let's put this here. Emotional appeal. We'll put this here to unlock along that row. This is a lie. We'll put it there, and we beat him. Reasoning with high society, 80%. So I guess maybe that would have been harder if we hadn't done all those other debates earlier to improve ourselves. Persuasive phrasing, 20. Victory. His smile widens. Oerl was going behind Vorsiber's back when blackmailing the researchers, and 57 Oerl VPs have been put to death by way of apology. Wow. This place is brutal. Vorsiber upper management isn't particularly invested in this group of researchers, as they have plenty more in other cities. What Vorsiber wants is you to do something, create anything, to make this all worth their while. You're the golden goose. Start laying. Oerl asked for and received permission to run this operation, both to save face and to see if there's anything useful they can steal from you. Vorsiber agreed in the spirit of good spectacle. The SVP is here to make sure that you aren't irrevocably harmed and that Oerl sticks to the terms that Vorsiber laid out for them. Turn and leave. As usual, it's mind games. Vorsiber upper management maintains power by pitting literally everyone else against one another. Even the SVP is just a pawn. All right, on that note, we are going to leave it there for next time. We do have a few more things to do this turn, so we'll pick up in the middle of this turn next time. We do want to destroy this mech. We want to take out the rest of those enemies there. I think we are going to do that, no problem. Don't feel like Oerl really knew what it was biting off when it attacked us. Hopefully it's more than they bargained for. And hopefully you're getting what you bargained for and you're enjoying these videos, so I humbly request that you could click that like button if you are. Also, feel free to subscribe. I'm not sure why you haven't clicked subscribe yet, but if I was you, I'd go ahead and click that subscribe button right now. Until next time, this has been Corknut playing Heart of the Machine. Bye-bye.